going on, everybody? Hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. I wanted to jump in here really quick. I don't have much time. The Queen tells me what time I need to go to bed. And I wanted to give you guys, some of you in the Black Business School have asked me for updates and maybe translations in terms of what's happening in the stock market right now. If you haven't noticed, the stock market has had a lot of ups and downs and a lot of chaos. Today it dropped by a whopping 785 points before a really sharp, rapid recovery, where it ended up dropping with, by very little points. And what's going on, Taryn Donatien? Good to see you. I see Taryn up in there. Taryn from Fly Nubian Queen. That's my girl. All right, and anyway, so here's the thing. The stock market's been kind of acting crazy. Some of you are investors. If you are an investor, what's going on, Wandering Rilo? If you are an investor, shout it out to the world. Shout out that you're an investor or a business owner. I want all the business owners to stand up and state your business. If you're an investor, say something real quick to say, hey, me and my family started investing. We just started investing in the stock market. You don't have to invest heavy amounts. Just do a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. I was coaching a young lady on that today. She said, I'm almost 30 and I've known her since she was a little girl. And she said, I'm almost 30 and I just really feel like I want to do more for my children. I want to move out of this neighborhood. I want to quit my job. And I said, everything that you want in your life is possible for you. We just have to make a plan. So let's talk about your plan. And if you execute and do exactly what I tell you, then you'll be quitting your job in a year. So anyway, so if you started investing, if you are an investor, if you own a business, state your business, let everybody know what you're doing. So let me talk about what's going on with the stock market right now. Right now, the stock market is in the middle of a lot of what they would call market volatility. Volatility ain't nothing but like a roller coaster, just up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, right? And this volatility is caused by numerous factors. The biggest factors right now is uncertainty. Basically a lot of the market moves based on investor psychology, what they see, like fear. Anything that scares investors causes markets to plummet. And this is due to the way the financial formulas are structured. The formulas that value stocks are based heavily on what they call the discount factor. The discount factor is a variable that kind of relates to the interest rate a little bit. It's heavily impacted by risk. So, and the crazy thing about risk is that it's not so much about real risk, it's about perceived risk, right? So it's almost like if you were the owner of the Chicago Bulls and somebody says there's a great player out of Chicago who's the best player that the city's ever seen, how much would you pay for him? And you say, oh, I'll sign him to a $100 million contract. And let's say that somebody says, oh, well, I heard a rumor that he's got a bad temper, he doesn't like to work hard, and that he might actually have some health problems that you don't know about, so he may not be able to play. Well, then they say, well, how much are you willing to pay for him now? You might be like, I'll give 70 million, right? You might drop that price, and that's kind of what happens with the market. Well, why would you drop that price? Well, you drop the price because you feel more risk. When you sense the risk, even if it's not real. Sometimes the boogeyman ain't even real, right? But you see the boogeyman still scares you. Almost like my the little 8-year-old in our house. She comes in every other night saying she sees ghosts in her room, and she's really having very real symptoms, physical, crying and scared and everything, heart's palpitating, all this other stuff, based on something that's obviously not there. There are no ghosts in her room, right? So same thing is true with the stock market. Sometimes investors can be spooked. They can see a boogeyman. And right now you have a lot of spookiness happening. Some of it is avoidable. Some of it's not. Some of it's coming from the Fed. The Federal Reserve keeps playing around, kind of like they kind of keep saying, well, we're going to probably raise interest rates, but then they're like, we might not. And that matters for reasons I won't go into as much. I mean, if you really want to dig into all this stuff, I have a whole curriculum on this in the Black Stock Market program. So feel free to check that out if you want to. But basically, the Fed's kind of tugging and playing with people and kind of, giving one signal and then sending another signal. And every time the Fed chairman speaks, every time he opens his mouth, the market moves. If he says, I think I'm going to raise interest rates a little bit more, I'm thinking about it, the market will plummet. If he says, I was thinking about raising interest rates, but probably not as much as I said before, the market will take off, right? That's how the stock market reacts. They're literally sitting there. The millions of people are sitting there like, what's he going to say? What's he going to say? What's he going to say? And they react. Now, another major player in this is a guy named Donald Trump. Now, I told you, I don't get into the politics of Trump. I don't really give a shit, to be honest with you. All I pay attention to is how's it going to affect me and my family and our ability to get things done, pay our bills, everything else. So with Trump, the reason Trump, see, here's the thing, Trump was partly good for the market because Trump is a guy who also makes money in the market. You know, I don't believe that a guy like Trump cares about black men like me, but I do know Trump cares about his money. I know he takes care of that paper. So my thought is, well, if he's a heavy stock market investor and he's president, he's probably going to try to do things that are going to keep the stock market strong. Now, the challenge I would have for Trump is that sometimes his behavior isn't consistent with that philosophy. This trade war with China is a very delicate thing. This trade war with China could have positive benefits in the sense that there is a long-held belief that when it comes to trade, a global trade, the Chinese have been winning. The Chinese are, you know, are ahead of the United States. They're kind of getting they have what they call we have what is called a trade deficit with China. China, meaning that, you know, you ever think about it like this? Imagine if somebody says, let's trade, you know, I'll let you use my car if you come and babysit my kids for 70 hours a week, right? And you're at first you're like, oh, that sounds like a good idea. I really need a car. But then after a while, you're like, man, I'm babysitting these kids for 70 hours a week. This is not a good trade for me. This is a problem. Well, in that situation, you've established a trade deficit. They're getting more out of the deal than you are. Almost like a bad relationship where you're doing everything for them and they ain't doing nothing for you. Well, China's kind of in that category. China is a country that everybody wanted to trade with. Everybody wanted to go and do business with because they saw all the opportunities in China, all the things China had. What they did not account for is the fact that the Chinese are smart. The Chinese are very, very smart. So the Chinese, you know, set up their trade relationships where they somehow ended up magically benefiting. The Chinese, everybody thought that they were going to go to China and kind of do to China what they did to Africa, kind of just go and suck out all the resources and make all this money, when actually it was the Chinese who benefited. A lot of those manufacturing jobs that you used to see in Gary, Indiana, and Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and Toledo, Ohio, are gone. Where are they? Well, they're over in China. They're in Guangzhou province. They're in Shanghai. They're in Beijing. And so Trump, you know, to his credit, partially, he's the right idea, but the wrong execution, I believe. I think he's the wrong guy to do this. But, you know, his idea is similar to what Obama said. Obama used to also have an issue with the Chinese and the way they manipulated currency, the way they manipulated trade relationships, things like that to their favor. And Trump is a little more audacious. So Trump is really kind of going head to head with them on this trade war. Now, here's where Trump is causing the volatility, though. Here's the thing. When the president talks, everybody listens. And the fact that Trump doesn't really know how to be disciplined in his language, Obama, you know, say what you want about him, but the man was disciplined in terms of how he spoke publicly. He was always measured. He always thought it out. Trump doesn't do that. Trump just nuclear war. Like, he'll make a joke about shooting a nuclear warhead and blowing up, wiping North Korea off the map. That's incredibly irresponsible for a president. And he does the same thing financially. He drops nuclear missiles onto the financial markets, where one minute he'll say something great about the trade, negotiations over the trade war, and then the next minute he'll say something really ridiculous. You know, and what that does is the market, because the market hangs on every word the president says. It's like the market's like doing this, you know, because one minute Trump is saying something that makes the market rally, the next minute he says something that makes the market plummet. So the market's kind of going through that volatility because of Trump. Now, real quick, if you're on YouTube or anywhere else, please hit the thumbs up button. Take 1 second, please hit that thumbs up button so that we can share this Black economic knowledge with as many people as possible. Also, I'll be in Houston on the 8th of December with Dr. Venetia Dutra. If you'd like to come out, please visit drboycehouston.com. That's drboycehouston.com. What's going on? I don't know if that's a Miss or Mrs. Modise from South Africa. They said, thank you for all you do. Well, thank you for being here, and thank you for being Black and intelligent. And then last but not least, if you actually want to learn more about the stock market, how to invest, how it all works, break it all down, I have literally 100 hours of powerful content and curricula structured in the Black Business School on stock market investing. And right now, actually going up into Christmas, you can actually get a lifetime membership to my Black Stock Market Program by visiting theblackstockmarketprogram.com. That's theblackstockmarketprogram.com. That offers good up until Christmas. It makes a great Christmas gift for those in your family where you want to change their thinking, get them thinking about wealth building, get them thinking about investing. It's really exciting, especially kids. Kids love this. Now, Chubby Curl says, put on my Black Finance Professor hat. Girl, you know me very well. That's Miss Chubby Curls out of, so put your real name in there too, so I don't call you Chubby Curls. I feel like that's kind of rude. But But yeah, she runs a company called Chubby. But I like the fact that your channel is called Chubby Girls because that helps people know about your brand. So I think that's great. I'm gonna have her on my channel very soon. So here's my Black Finance Professor hat, Black Finance Professor. So I'm gonna put that hat on, and we're gonna finish this conversation. Now, don't forget, hit that thumbs up button if you're on YouTube. Some of y'all hit it, some of y'all didn't. Hit that thumbs up button so we can keep the party going. All right. So let me go through a couple more things on this stock market thing. I don't have as much time as I normally would because I fly tomorrow to Houston. And also, when the Queen tells me it's time for bed, I know it's time for bed. Now, here's the thing. The stock market right now is hit what they call a death cross. A death cross, it sounds scary, sounds like the Grim Reaper. It sounds like something really terrible, like we're all going to die. Oh my God, the world's coming to an end. And in fact, this is Market Watch. This is their image they use for the death cross. You see like a guy with a sickle, like I'm gonna chop your head off, like whatever, right? So it's very doom and gloomish kind of term. And in some regards, some might see it that way because it certainly is a reflection of the fact that the market has been dropping over the last, few weeks or few months. So basically the death cross relates to averages. What is the moving average of the Dow Jones Industrial Average over the last 50 days compared to the moving average of the Dow Jones Industrial Average over the last 200 days? When the 50-day average is lower than the 200-day average, meaning the market's on a downtrend, that's what they call the death cross. And so it's like, darn, 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 we hit the death cross. Oh my God, the world's coming to an end. Holy crap. Now, here's the thing. Look, in this, the term death cross probably appeases those who are constantly telling me that the whole economy is going to come to an end and crash and burn and everybody's going to lose everything. And I'm not saying that's not possible. I'm not going to say that at all. But what I am going to say is that it's never happened in the last 120 years. So here's the thing. You could, it could happen, right? And if it happens, I'm sure there'll be a lot of people who are like, I told you so. I told you the whole economy is going to crash. But they tell you that every year, and they do that to keep you from investing in the stock market. And the whole time you're sitting there thinking that the market's going to crash, people are making money hand over fist. As I told you guys a million times, the gap between the rich and the poor, when scientists like me, financial scientists like me, go into the lab and we say, why are the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer? What's the reason for this gap? Oh my God. You know what they find out? They find out it's because rich people are putting their money in the stock market and everybody else is putting their money into the mall. Right? Rich people are going out and buying assets and regular people are going out and buying cars, right? Rich people are putting their money into things that make their money grow. Everyone else, a lot of people are putting their money into things that are going to make their money disappear, like a rabbit in a hat, like poof, then you open up the hat, the rabbit's dead, the rabbit's gone. There is no rabbit, right? So basically, stock market investing in terms like death cross kind of make people say, aha, I knew it. The market's coming to an end. And it fits into this weird category called technical analysis, which is where you look at market trends and data that has no other meaning other than the fact that it's data, and you try to predict the market based on that data. A lot of our studies that we learned in graduate school when I was working on my PhD, a lot of our studies kind of said that this stuff really doesn't work. It's kind of tantamount to voodoo or witchcraft. It doesn't mean that it is all the time, but it's very, very difficult to support those ideas when they're not backed by economic theory. So if I'd gone in and when I was working on my PhD at Ohio State and finishing my doctorate, and it's a very hard degree to get. When I got that degree, I was the only black man on earth to get a PhD in finance that year. In that particular year, I was the only one on earth, only black person on earth to get that degree. It's very hard to get. But if I'd gone into my dissertation chair and said, I want to look at death crosses and predict the market based on death crosses, he would say, get the hell out of my office. You don't deserve a PhD. You're not a real scholar. Well, why is that? Well, because you're looking at just data and you're not looking at anything that underlies the data. You're not looking at anything that really explains why. You're just looking at these random statistical connections that could just be due to random chance. And it doesn't necessarily tell you like what's really going on. So the goal of the scientist is to understand. And that still reflects how I think to this day. A lot of times I'll observe, but then I seek to understand like what is the underlying cause of what's happening. I don't want to just look at what's happening. I'm going to look at what's causing it to happen so you can understand how the mechanics work. So with the death cross, here's the thing about the death cross. So we did hit a death cross recently with the market where the 50-day moving average was lower than the 200-day moving average. Now, here's the thing, though. The death cross is not a predictor that the market is going to keep going worse. It's not a predictor of a recession. Doesn't mean the world's falling apart. The Chicken Littles don't win in that situation. What the death cross actually ends up showing is what they call a reversal. I wrote my whole dissertation on market reversals. Basically, They said that when they look at, they have what they call the death cross, where the 50-day moving average is below the 200-day moving average. And they have the golden cross, where the 50-day moving average exceeds the 200-day moving average. And they said when it looks like the market's doing really well right now, they said on average, it ends up going down a little bit. And when it looks like it's doing bad right now, on average, it ends up going up a little bit. And these reversals happen all the time. People like Warren Buffett, they invest on reversals. They, it's studies show that if for the last 50 years, you have been just investing, like buying more stocks when the market goes down and still buying when the market goes up, that you would have made a killing, a ton of money. Like a lot of people who buy Nike sneakers because you love Colin Kaepernick, I tell them, I say, look, if you've been buying a lot of Nike stock for the last 20 years and taking the money that you use, to buy Nike sneakers over the last 20 years and put it in Nike stock, you would have a lot of money in your bank account right now. So yes, we did hit the death cross, and there is financial chaos, a lot of volatility, but the death cross actually isn't something to be, afraid of. It's not something that's like, oh my God, the world's coming to an end. That's just not true. Or at least historically, it hasn't been true. No one, that's another thing. The reason I always stop when I always talk about what's going to happen in the future, the reason I slow down is because basically the theory shows that nobody can predict what the market's going to do in the future. Nobody can predict what any individual stock's going to do in the future. There are lots of people who will fight me on that. There are lots of people who come out and say with pitchforks like, no, Boyce, you're full of it. That's just not true. I have 25 years of teaching finance to college students to kind of back that up. It doesn't mean I'm right about everything, but it does mean that I know a whole lot of stuff. It's like if you've been a doctor for 25 years and the surgeon says, that doesn't look like a good heart. And a guy off the street with a beer in his hand says, no, that heart's good. You're a quack. You're a quack. The surgeon's like, well, I don't know what to tell you because I'm smart enough to know that I could be wrong, but I also know that I've been doing surgery for 25 years. So, I've taught finance at a lot of schools. I taught at Ohio State University, Syracuse University, University of Kentucky, Indiana University. I taught in China. I taught in Europe. I've taught all over the world, basically, and it's spoken all over the world, including parts of Africa and other places on financial matters. So I can just tell you that there's nothing in the market right now that worries me. Now, there's a lot that's happening that interests me. Like right now, for example, the market had a major drop. It dropped 785 points. And I was like, holy crap, what's going to happen here? This is crazy. And I just kind of did what I consistently do. I just started buying more. I was like, oh, well, the stock was $50 yesterday. Now it's 42. I'm gonna go buy some more, right? And the hope is that the reversals will kick in sooner rather than later. So what happened was the market went deep, did a deep dive, like for about half a day, America was on sale. For half a day, America was cheaper to buy. Pieces of America was cheaper to buy, at lunchtime than it was to buy that same piece of America at 3 o'clock. So I was buying when I saw the market drop. I was like, whoo, crap. And you don't like seeing your portfolio drop by thousands of dollars in a matter of hours. You're like, oh God, this is not fun. But then I was like, oh, well, let's just be consistent. Okay, I'll buy this, I'm gonna buy this, I'm gonna buy this, I'm gonna buy this. And then by the time the day ended, I kid you not, by the time the day ended, the market was right back where it was before. Crazy. Imagine going to the mall and they got, $200 outfits, and in the middle of the day, for no reason at all, the $200 outfit is suddenly $140. And then by the end of the day, it's $200 again. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool, right? So it doesn't mean the market works like this all the time. Nobody can predict it, but this is not uncommon. This has happened repeatedly a zillion times over the last 120 years. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people think that times like the Great Depression were reasons that you should stay away from the market. Like, oh, remember the Great Depression? The market went down and all these people lost everything. No, the Great Depression. If I could go back in time and somebody said, hey, Boyce, when would you like to go into your financial time machine and invest in the stock market? I would say, take me back to the Great Depression. Take me back to when the market was at its absolute lowest, when despair was at its absolute highest, when everybody was trying to sell everything, nobody had cash, and everybody was trying to dump their assets. I want to be right there because I'm going to go up in there and I'm going to buy every damn thing I can get my hands on. I'm going to buy it all, because when you come out of that slump, you're balling out of control. You're doing extremely well. So basically, long story short, historically, these dips are buying opportunities. People like Warren Buffett are what they call value investors. All Warren does is he looks for things that are on sale and he buys them when they're on sale, and then he waits for the price to go up. That's how people make money. with systems. I was mentoring a young lady on this today. I've known her since she was little. And I was like, you know, let's get past this whole making money by going to work every day. Let's get past this whole like $15, $20 an hour scenario. I need you to understand the ways rich people make money. And I'll break that down for you and explain all that to you. Now, Kristen Wade says, whatever happened to Shaquita Graham and Noma Langdon with Shelly Moses? And she has a big exclamation points to say, hey boys, hey boys. Noma Langdon and Shaquita are still around. Those are my girls. I love them to death, and they haven't gone anywhere. I think they, you know, sometimes people just get into doing other things. But whenever Noma and Shaquita want to come on my YouTube channel, I'll let them come in because they've been my friends for damn near a decade now. And those are badass black women, and I like women like that because I'm not real big. I don't really connect real well with like a lot of the feminism and stuff like that because I think there's some racism there. But I connect with those like, you know, raw, you know, like real tough, sturdy black women that you grew up with, like your grandma and your mama. And Shaquita and Noma are in that category. They really love black men. They have our backs. And if you have my back, I'm going to have yours. So basically, that's where Noma and Shaquita are. And there's another badass black woman in here, Vicky Dillard. Check out Vicky Dillard. She's a Fly Nubian Queen TV.com. Her and Michi X and Dr. Shauna ATN and attorney Nicole Compton. Those are some amazing women. So anyway, I'm gonna go. Don't forget, if you're in Houston, I'll be in Houston on December 8th. You can learn more at drboycehouston.com. That's drboycehouston.com. Also, if you want to take advantage of the 75% discount on a lifetime membership and my Black Stock Market Program, all you have to do is visit theblackstockmarketprogram.com. That's theblackstockmarketprogram.com. And the offer lives right now for a limited time, and you will be a lifetime member. It makes a great Christmas gift that will last forever. That'll make a difference in the lives of your family. And also, if you wanted to get a 75% discount on our children's program, Black Millionaires of Tomorrow, feel free to go to blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. Both of these are degree programs in the Black Business School. So once you go through all the content, you can get a certificate that you can print out and put on your wall. And it's better than a college degree because we teach you more than a university teaches you, but we teach you at about $3 or $4 a day. It's very, very inexpensive and affordable for everybody. We won't put you in debt like universities do, but you get a better knowledge and understanding of how to make money in America than you get at a business school. Most business schools, at universities, they charge you maybe $30,000 a year, and they teach you how to go work for someone else. We don't really do so much of that. We teach you how to work for yourself. We teach you the pillars of wealth: stock and bond investing, real estate investing, and entrepreneurship. We don't really focus so much on like, you know, how to go to a corporation and get along with your boss, because we feel that that isn't healthy for Black people. It's not, it causes mental illness. So that's what we're built on in the Black Business School. So go find out why we have almost 70,000 students who love us to death. Feel free to give it a try. So the stock market program, the discount there is theblackstockmarketprogram.com. Don't forget that TAG, and the discount for the children's program where your kids can get degrees in the school as blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. That's blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. Okay, guys, I'm out of here. And I think that's it. Let me see. So Kristen says Vicky Dillard. I don't know why Kristen keeps asking about Vicky Dillard or Vicky Dillard. Noma Langdon and Shaquita. I already answered that question, Kristen. I hope you're not a troll, because if you're a troll, Vicky's a moderator, and Chubby Curls, they'll boot you out of here. So don't be in here trolling now. But I will answer that question honestly, because I love Noma Langdon and Shaquita, and those are my girls, and I back them 100%. So hit that thumbs up button, guys. I'm out of here. Have a great day, and I'll check in with you guys again when I get to Houston. I'll talk to you later. Be good. Peace.